Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the two pendant necklaces that I will be making. Most of the components came from Sam's Bead box for the month of May 2023. So if you would like to see how these necklaces came about, then stay tuned. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the tools that I will be using. I have 2 sets of chain nose pliers, 1 set of cutters, 1 set of crimping pliers. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set, and as the name suggests, this is the most comfortable tool set that I have found. It is very high quality, very well made. And one of my favorite things about it is they're just a little bit bigger. It almost seems like they're made for adult size hands. A lot of times in jewelry stores or on Amazon, for whatever reason, jewelry making tools will be like this, just quite a bit smaller. And I know they certainly work for some people, but for me, when I found this tool set, I just can't see using anything else. As you can see, the grips are quite a bit larger. They're just very, very comfortable to use. I will have this tool set linked down below, along with everything else I use in the video that does not come from the bead box. I am also using 49 strand bead along wire in the color Bright, which is this silver color. And I know you can see all this red copper down here, but once everything is strung together, you will not be able to even see that this is in this color. I always get the 100 feet just because I go through it so quickly. And another thing I will have linked below is the opening video I did for Sam's Bead box, and it will have a detailed description of all of the beads that I use that came from the box, like this beautiful pendant bead, these cuboid beads, and yes, it'll be linked down below. For my own stash, I'm going to be using this chain, which is this right here. I will have this link down below. One of my favorite things about this chain, I love how small, how petite it is, but it also comes in 6 different finishes. I love finding good deals of metal that comes in different shades because I definitely do a lot of jewelry in different finishes, so it's nice when I find a chain that I like that comes in all the different finishes. So this will be linked down below as well. And I will be using these flower bead caps. Also, all of the findings, jump rings, crimp covers, wire guardians, crimp tubes, and these 3mm spacers. And I'm also going to be using this pinch bail for the pendant bead. And this is another thing that I just recently purchased that came in several different finishes, which I absolutely love. So I have already cut a length of wire, and it's right at 12 inches long. So here is how I start the strand. I put on a jump ring, a crimp tube, and a wire guardian. I'm going to put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other side. And you want to make sure that jump ring is up in that wire guardian, and I'm going to pinch it closed with my fingers. And then both ends of that wire need to go through the crimp tube. And I'm going to pull on the longer end because I don't want the tail to be quite that big. I know these parts are small, but I'm going to try to show you. I'm going to separate this wire underneath the crimp tube, and I have it right there. I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot, just like that, and give it a good smash, and it's going to give it that taco shape. I'm going to turn it on its side, go into the first divot, give it another smash, and that's pretty good, but I'm going to go with the flat part at the end of the crimping pliers and give it the final smash. And that makes it nice and snug. And now I'm going to hold it on the end there and put on the crimp cover right on top of that smashed crimp tube. Just like that. And then I'm going to flip it up and go in with my chain nose pliers. Give it a gentle smash. And now I am going to go front to back with my chain nose pliers on that crimp tube and give it that round shape. Just like that. So here is how I start each strand. All right, so before I put the beads on the strand, I'm gonna go ahead and put the pinch bail on the pendant bead right here. So I'm gonna take my chain nose pliers, both pairs, and I'm just going to open that pinch bail, just like that. And then put in the pendant bead on either side, and then I can pinch it closed with my fingers. Honestly, you could probably open it with your fingers as well, but I use my pliers. So simple as that. Now you have a bail on your pendant, just like that. So now you can set it aside, so when we get to that point, we can just go ahead and put that pendant on. So now I'm on the opposite end of the wire that we just started. For my own stash, I'm gonna be using these 4mm pearls, and I'm gonna start with this 4mm pearl, 3mm spacer, bead cap facing up, cube bead, bead cap facing down. And down on the other side, you wanna make sure that you tuck that tail, so just like this. And I like that that crimp cover kind of goes along with those spacer beads. So we're going to do this pattern right here 2 more times. So here we have it right here. So now the center component is going to be similar, but we're gonna add an extra pearl bead and go ahead and put on that pendant. So I'm adding this just like we did before with the 3mm spacers and the pearl bead. There you go. And I'm gonna go ahead and put on the pendant. And the cool thing about this particular pinch bail and this particular bead is it doesn't matter which way you do, which way you put it on. Obviously with some pendants and some beads, it does matter. For this one, it doesn't. So I'm gonna put it on. And then I'm gonna add another pearl and another spacer. So here is what that center component looks like. We added an extra pearl and an extra spacer with that pendant. And the bail on this one, it won't go over these 4mm pearls. So it is very much secure in that center part where that one spacer bead is, just like that. So now we're going to put the same thing we have on this side over here, once again on this side, and then we will meet back up. All right, so here is the strand, just like this, and we have ended with that pearl, which is where we began with the pearl. So now we're going to close it off. I'm gonna put on a jump ring, a crimp tube, and a wire guardian. Put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other, and you want your jump ring to be inside that wire guardian. I'm gonna pinch it closed with my fingers. And then you want both ends of your wire through that crimp tube. I'm gonna put the end of the wire through the first couple of beads. All right, and then I'm gonna pull that end. And here's where you wanna have that balance, because you wanna pull it very snug, but you also want your strand to be flexible. So you wanna make sure you can move the strand, but you also want it to be pretty snug. I'm gonna take my crimping pliers, go into that second divot, give it a good smash right on that crimp tube. Get that taco shape, turn it on its side, go into that first divot, give it another smash, and then I'm gonna go with that flat part at the end of the crimping pliers, give it a final smash, and that makes it nice and snug. And now I'm gonna take a crimp cover, put it right on top of that smashed crimp tube, and then flip it up, go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash. Now I'm gonna go front to back on that crimp tube. Make sure it has that round shape, just like that. And now I'm gonna go as close as I can with my cutters, cut that wire, and then I'm gonna go in there with my nail and just kind of put that nub into the next bead, just like that. So here it is. And now I'm going to add the chain and the clasp. So I'm gonna use the jump rings that are already on the end there. Open it. I'm gonna take that chain and connect it to the last link in that chain. Just like that, simple enough. Close it. And then do that same thing to the other side. All right, there we go. Now on the opposite end of the chain, I'm gonna get another jump ring. Open it, connect it to the opposite last link. Just like that. And now before I close this one, I'm gonna go ahead and add the lobster clasp, just like that. Close, and then add the same thing to the other side, but just the jump ring, No lobster clasp. All right, so now we have that jump ring on the other side. Let's close it. So there is the clasp. And here is the necklace. So I want to show you. In Sam's bead box, they had this exact same pendant and these cube beads in multiple colors. So instead of just having the one with the red copper finish, I went ahead and made it in a different color entirely. So the same necklace, and most of the same parts, just with the purple and silver. So here is the other one that I made, and you can see that bail, like I said, it comes in several different finishes, exact same process. A different chain that I have. This is a Rollo chain, but same kind of slim style chain. You see the clasp there? So here are the two that I made, and I will set them up on my display so that we can see them better. All right, so here they are, and I have to say, I absolutely love the simplicity of these two necklaces. I think they came out absolutely beautiful, and if we get in there, we can see those pinch bails and how just changing the finish gives it a completely different look. And of course, with the darker beads, I went with the lighter metal finish, and I really think it sets it off really nice. And then of course with the lighter beads, I went with the darker finish, that red copper, and also I just think that looks so pretty. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like, leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.